Welcome everybody to another episode, the 60th episode of the Dragoncast. My name is Brian Daniels. I'm back once again with my podcast partner in crime, Mr. Victor Salazar, and we're also joined by our former co-host, Miss Kona Lynn Sankey. And guys, it's good to see you guys here today, and welcome. And guys, we have another guest with us here on this episode. And I want to welcome Beth Zwolski Tobias. She's also known as the Chalk Girl, which is the reason why she's here on the show today. Mm-hmm. And it's good to have you on the show, Beth. How are you doing this morning?
I'm great.
It's so good to have you here. Welcome. Thanks for joining us here today.
My pleasure.
We do definitely appreciate you here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so let's just get right into it. So you're known as the Chalk Girl.
Yes.
And there it is. Yep.
I love it. Yep. You got to start from the beginning, man. You got to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
How did we start with chalk? You know?
Yeah. What inspired you to do art with chalk?
So, it's a great story. One day I'll make it into a comic book, I swear. But I was bored. Really, honestly, I was 19. I was bored. It was summer. And I decided to be somewhat constructive with my day. So I went outside. I had a whole bunch of sidewalk chalk. And I was like, I'm just going to draw the first Harry Potter book cover. I'm a huge nerd. I'm a huge geek. It was Harry Potter. And I did it. It was like not a quarter, but maybe like a sixth the side of my driveway. It was pretty big. I was like, this is really cool. A couple weeks go by and I wanted to do some more. It had rained. So I did a whole bunch of Pixar characters in like a little collage. I wanted to be an animator. I went to school for animation. So
nice.
Yeah. So I had these two random drawings. The following summer, I went and I applied at a Six Flags theme park close to me. And I didn't really know how the audition process worked there, but I had my portfolio with me and I was like, well, if there's some kind of artwork that I can do for the company, cool. So I actually had to audition as I held a whole bunch of jobs when I was there, but I had to actually audition as like a fuzzy character, like Daffy Duck or Bugs Bunny or whatever. So I had to audition as that, but I showed them my portfolio and they started asking me questions. Like they saw the chalk stuff in the back. It was, I had like all my feeder stuff, all sorts of like other like classical drawing stuff.
Yeah.
But they saw the chalk and they were like, well, that's really cool. Can you draw anything? And I said, well, as long as I have a picture, I'm pretty good. So they said, well, could you just draw like Bugs Bunny on the ground and could a kid come by and color him in? Could we do like a color by number activity for kids in the park? And I said, sure, let's try it. So they told me, they were like, well, this job doesn't exactly exist. We have to call corporate and make it a job. I was like, wow. Okay.
That's cool.
It was very cool.
That's pretty cool.
So it was very cool. So they made a position for me. And for the next 5 summers, I would draw 1 picture a day, every day. It would get washed down at the end of the night, but then I would do a new one the next day. And it was all the Warner Brother characters. It was all the DC Justice League. It was some of the Hanna-Barbera characters. So it kind of started at Six Flags. And then, I like I said, I did that for 5 summers and then I got into conventions with my husband. So, yeah.
That's so funny. I'm picturing Beth here in like a Bugs Bunny suit saying, so this is my portfolio, guys. You know, this is what I can do. And it feels like that's how it was, huh? That's so weird to have them ask you to be in costume. That's crazy.
Well, they had to offer me a position that already existed. They couldn't hire me without saying like, this is what she's going to do. So, and like I said, I did anything that you could think of in the entertainment department at a theme park, I did. So yes, I was a fuzzy character. I've been friends with Porky Pig and Sylvester and Daffy and Bugs and nice. All those characters. I ran karaoke. I've been a tech. I've been in a show. I've done like all sorts of different stuff there. So like it was 10 years total at Six Flags, but 5 years of doing the chalk stuff.
Just something a little off topic. It's funny to me how the universe works because Beth, you mentioned you went to school for animation.
Yeah.
But yeah, you end up in a fuzzy suit. So it's weird how things work out sometimes, you know?
I mean, but all for a reason. Like
Yes,
I learned so much at with my time at Six Flags. So I can say that now. I can say,
That's cool. That's
I've
super
been there,
cool.
done that.
That is
Yeah,
pretty
I
cool.
know how hot it is in one of those. So yes.
Mm.
So it seems like when you started picking up the chalk, did you always have like a natural talent for art, like on paper or what have you, before you decided to go
Transfer over
with
the chalk.
the chalk?
Yes. So my mom is an artist. Her dad and her uncle were
wow.
artists, and it's not like nobody was famous for it. Nobody, was publicized for it. But
Yeah.
I have two older siblings, and both of them are incredibly athletically inclined. So I was the kid on the sideline with like the coloring book and the backpack and like doing all my art stuff while they're playing soccer or playing
I get it.
volleyball.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
my mom was the one that put the crayon in my hand, and that was just always like a constant in my life. It was just one of the things that I happened to be good at. So we tend to go towards those things that we are praised for and that we're good at. And animation was just kind of something that I knew I wanted to go into film. I wanted to be a cinematographer for a long time, but then my sophomore year of college, I thought about, well, if I want to draw for a living and if I want to do film, animation is a perfect combination of the two. So I went for animation.
Okay. So let me, as the artist of us, ask more of the art questions. So I've been going through your Instagram here, and I mean, it's just such a broad range of genres, and
of
it's
nerddom.
amazing. But I'm wondering about what you're working on, like, because this doesn't look like my sidewalk chalk. Like my sidewalk chalk, I mean, even as another artist, I'm seeing like the background texture looks kind of like canvas, and you've got more colors than I've ever seen.
That is a wonderful observation.
Yeah.
Like you are spot on. So I say sidewalk chalk because it's something that everybody can relate to. Like who hasn't picked up a piece and played with it on their driveway?
Absolutely.
So it's actually, the chalk that I use is Crayola chalk. Like it's just Crayola. It's nothing special, no fancy thing. It's just tiny little sticks, like old school fashioned chalkboard sticks. They're highly pigmented, but it's really nothing other than compressed dust. That's literally all it is. I do have a second brand that I get that are bigger, and they do have it's a special formula. A guy took over a company because he didn't want it to go under. So they have their own special formula. There's something a little bit different about it, but it's still publicized as sidewalk chalk. Yeah. So I'm not really using anything different. I might have, tinier sticks. I might have tinier tools. I work on a massive canvas, and you are right on that, the observation that it is canvas. But it's just, it's your basic sidewalk chalk.
I'll tell you what, I met for those watching and listening, I met Beth. I had the pleasure of meeting Beth a couple years ago at a convention called PopCon in Indianapolis, my hometown. And I remember when my wife and I walked by, it was your booth is just so striking because as you said, and as Kona had mentioned too, I mean your canvas it's massive canvas. I mean you can't not notice it when you're going through a convention. Seeing you working on this art, and I didn't even see I didn't even see that you were called Chalk Girl. I was just like, wow, that's so cool. Like, and I thought you were painting, like using actual paint.
No.
And it was so like just mesmerizing. And then as I got closer to your booth, I was like, wait, you're using chalk? There's no way that's chalk. Like, and so it's kind of like, when you see a magician do a trick and you're like, man, how the hell did they do that? Like, there's no way. Seeing your art, because you said it. Everybody's messing around with sidewalk chalk, but man, I ain't messing around with sidewalk chalk like that. That's the way you do it is just incredible.
So
I'm jealous. Yeah. I mean, I'm always jealous of people who do art. I have friends that do art, and I'm like, man, I couldn't even pick up a pen and draw a straight line, man. It would it would be bad. Like, oh man,
straight lines are overrated.
Yeah, straight lines are overrated. I'm with Conan, man.
I agree. No, I totally agree. Straight lines are overrated.
But as I was watching you for a little bit, and I'm like, man, this is so cool. Like, I had to watch you kind of at an angle so I can actually see the chalk hit the canvas. I'm like, man, that's just amazing that you're doing that. And the one that I saw you do was the you did a Hellboy one, and Ron Perlman was there, which was super
yes, he
cool.
was.
You got to share your work with him, and and I mean, you guys, you go to her Instagram page. It's the Chalk Girl on Instagram, and if you look at stuff, I'm telling you guys, it's one thing to see your art on the internet or on an app, but no, it's a completely different experience in person, because you get to see the like when you go, you go to any like art show or something, and you can actually see the paint and the strokes and stuff like that. It's like that same thing with you doing your chalk. It's so cool to see. It's dust, so you literally see the dust on the art and things. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm constantly covered in chalk
and
dust.
You absolutely were. You were like covered almost like head to arms and everything when I saw you, because you were like, well, I would shake your hand, but it's all covered in like.
I would get that dust all over me.
I don't care.
When we shook hands.
Yeah, back when we shook hands,
that was okay.
Oh my gosh.
So here's a quick question for you, Beth, in regards to how you do your work. I mean, chalk, obviously, we're talking about dust. Chalk is super messy, and it smudges super easily. So how do you work around that? Or is there any particular techniques that you do that, it doesn't, hand press against the paper when I draw? Doesn't seem to be what's going on with, chalk. So how do you go around that?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, you are not alone when you ask me this question. I try to get my friends to help me with the drawings when I do my live stuff, and they're so hesitant because they think they're going to screw it up. But chalk is such a flexible medium. Like, yes, it is very easily like manipulated and very easily moved and stuff. But I think I'm past the fear of like screwing it up. Like I ruin pictures all the time. Like you might not see it unless I point it out, but like I make mistakes all the time.
Right.
Chalk is just, I can take a white piece of chalk and I can go over black chalk and like reasonably replace it. So it's not a permanent thing. It's not that like, it's not that bad.
Do you use a fixative to keep the finished piece in place?
So this has been probably the most arduous part of our adventure. We found one. We tested about 60 different fixatives to try to get these guys to stay. But essentially, like I said, chalk is dust, and when you apply any kind of liquid to dust, it becomes translucent. So if I have, and for the longest time, I did all of my drawings on a black background. So when something becomes translucent and you put it in front of a black background, the color dulls. You don't see it as well because there's no light behind it.
Right.
If I do drawings on a white background and do the spray, it's a little bit darker, but you can still see the drawing. So this year, we're actually doing all of our drawings on a white background with the hopes of being able to seal them completely and then sell them. A lot of what I have, I wish I
What happened?
in painter's plastic, we roll them around a PVC pipe, and then we put them in the back of my car. So we want to be able to get rid of some of this inventory that we have and be able to sell it and, hopefully find a forever home for some of these drawings. But we did finally find one fixative. It works about 95% of the way. So if you scroll far enough through my Instagram, you'd be able to see our Wonder Woman picture and our Moana picture. Both of those are sealed to the extent that we can seal them. I have just recently found a way of taking acrylic, and if I were to mount these pictures, if I were to put them on a frame, we could mount a piece of acrylic in front of them so that they weren't directly like, I couldn't just take my hand and go across it. But Wonder Woman currently right now, I can put my hand on it and I can do this and nothing happens to it. So like, we're so close. There
it is. Yep.
Yeah.
There
that
we
one.
go. Yeah.
right now we're just testing the longevity of it. So I would love to be able to sell Wonder Woman and sell Moana, but we need to make sure that if it hangs in somebody's house for 10 years, like sun isn't getting at it and like all this stuff. So we want to ensure quality. And anything that anyone purchases from me comes with like a lifetime guarantee. Like I'm not going to say, no, I'm not going to fix it for you.
Yeah, the tips and tricks of storing art. I mean, I work in mixed mediums mostly. And so
gosh.
The difference between storing acrylic and storing watercolor. I mean, most people don't get the ins and outs, but I mean, the framing process is partly because we're trying to make it easier for the client. And of course, with a lot of your work, you don't have frames on any of this.
Nope.
Is this going to be something that you see that you're going to be able to do like actual frames on, or is that something you've looked at before?
Yes, I have definitely talked to people in the framing industry. I've actually met a couple vendors that that have their own frame gallery, which is awesome.
Nice.
So I would love to be able to frame some of these things. They're just gigantic.
Yeah.
Glassy.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. There's a museum quality acrylics, there's museum quality glass, but to order a single sheet of that is incredibly expensive. So for me to say like, hey, you're going to buy my original piece of art for X amount of dollars, well, you're also going to have to spend X number of $1,000 getting it framed and then buying glass. I did recently see, there's a guy out there called the Chalk Guy, and he actually does... Yeah, he does motivational speeches while he's drawing with chalk, and he'll typically do it on a bed sheet. He travels the country, and wherever he's going, he tells them to pick up their supplies, and he has them get a black bed sheet from Walmart or whatever, and then they make a wooden frame. And I went to a high school recently that had one of his originals, and they had it mounted on this wooden frame, but then they had the pieces of acrylic in front of it. And it gave me the idea, like, maybe I can do this too, especially after I seal it. It's just another layer of protection. So I'm really hoping that I can work with somebody this year to figure that out. And then we would be able to say like, hey, you want this original? Well, give me 4 weeks and I will have it shipped to you and it'll be good. So I'm hoping to get there.
So here's a quick question for you, Beth. And we'll give the links in the description if everyone wants to check out the artwork.
Absolutely.
But where can I check out your pieces? You know, do you have a particular store, as in a website, or do we have to go through Instagram and DM you? Like how would that work if I see a piece I like, or how do I even know if for sale?
Yeah. So this year, that's one of my big to-dos is to make a website or to incorporate part of my website that will start promoting those originals. I don't have it out there yet. And yes, you could DM me on any of the social media. I am on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and TikTok and Twitch. All of those places you could find me. I also have a website, which is adventuresofchalkgirl.com. And you could find me there. You can email me. You can send me a DM. And yes, you can just inquire about it. Some of them are spoken for. Some of them are not available anymore because they don't physically exist. Like Jon Snow was painted over to make another one.
Oh no! I guess that makes sense. You know.
Yeah. So some of them
another question.
Yeah, some of them we attempted to seal and it didn't work. So it just depends on which one that you'd be interested in. But yes, there is a way for me to get them to you. It's just a lengthy conversation of this is how you take care of it. For example, Lou Ferrigno has an original.
Oh wow!
Of the Hulk. Yeah.
But you also do prints, right?
Sorry?
But you also do prints?
I do prints. I can show you.
Yeah, show us a couple of your prints. We'd love to see these.
So these I just grabbed a handful last night when I was prepping for this, but so we've got.
See, that's awesome right there. I love
that.
Yeah.
Adorable.
I love Look at you. That's cute.
Thanks. So you've said like there's a huge variety of stuff on my Instagram. I'm a big musical fan.
Oh, love it.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with this space.
That's
Not at all.
Oh,
This is
Hamilton. That's
Yeah,
Lin-Manuel
Hamilton.
Miranda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
that's a
it.
beautiful one. I love that one.
This is the popular one right now because of WandaVision.
Oh
Yes.
yes.
I haven't
I
seen WandaVision
love
yet.
it.
No spoilers, guys.
No spoilers.
Okay,
no
no spoilers.
spoilers.
Oh, it's
Well,
so good.
this is from
It's awesome. That's all you
Endgame, so
need to
you
know.
don't have to worry about that picture
Yep,
spoiling
yep.
anything. We've got some more Avengers.
Yes.
Oof, nice. I love
I
that.
love it.
Yeah.
See like the detail
Love
in that. That looks so cool, man.
Yeah.
That looks
It's
so good.
amazing to think that's chalk.
Yeah. Oh, Mando.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh,
little baby Yoda.
There you go, right there.
That's
Look.
Wow,
adorable.
the detail in that. How big was that one to begin with? Like,
This was 4 feet by 6 feet.
Wow. 4 by 6
so-
feet.
Yeah.
4 feet by 6 feet is average size. Like that's what I typically do, but it's also small. So this one that I'm about to show you, anybody play Dungeons and Dragons here?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody into Critical Role here?
I've watched a few
Um,
episodes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, I've
these are
seen
the
that
these are the
one.
characters
that's
from
so
their
cool. Look at that.
second
Oh,
campaign.
Man, that's gorgeous.
But this one was 6 by 10 feet.
oh, geez.
Wow, 6 by 10.
So while we're talking about the size of your of the murals and what you make your art on, how long does it normally, like on average, take you from start to finish to do one of your pieces?
Great question.
Mhm.
I'm glad this is super appropriate because this was the shortest one. So this
Ooh, I
one,
love
this is
that.
actually a
Look at that.
metal. So I also we
Ooh.
have a metal printer, and so I.
I'm gonna have to
make
get
these
with you
metal
on that
print.
because I need.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm a
So
huge
this
Batman
one,
fan.
this one was only about 5 hours.
Wow.
But the Critical Role one was over 100.
Wow.
Oof, 100 hours. You know,
So yeah.
Dude.
Beth, that
That
begs
is
the question because I have to ask this, man. You mentioned
Wow.
painting or drawing over Jon Snow.
Yeah.
2 questions. First of all, what factors come into having to say, all right, you got to go. I'm sorry. We're going over this. And number 2, how painful is it to spend X amount of hours doing it in the first place only to have to get rid of it?
Jon Snow is the only one that we've painted over, so he's an exception.
Oh, okay.
We
Okay,
attempted to seal him and it didn't work. So at that
Aw.
point it was just kind of not ruined, but it was like, well, we're not getting anything else out of this. We made prints of it already. It's just a canvas. Like, I'm gonna save a couple extra bucks and just paint over it instead of buying a whole new canvas.
Yeah.
So that was the only factor for that one. But the other ones, like some of them are just hanging in my basement, and like if some of those were to get kind of ruined, I'd be a little heartbroken. But at the end of the day, like I said, chalk is super easy to fix. So like
Yeah.
I would not be happy if you came over and put your hand and like made a swipe, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now I'm
Cool,
curious.
cool.
Let's get into let's talk about conventions because
Yeah.
obviously, you
Yeah.
know, if you've been living under a rock the last year and a half, we've had this thing called the coronavirus going on. And it sucks that I have to talk about this on almost every episode we have a guest on, Victor, but it's something that we gotta talk about because it's impacted every single one of our lives. And I'm sure that, you know, for you, that's no different than any of us. I met you at a convention. Convention is something that we all love to do here and have missed very, very much over the last year and a half, or well, a year now. So to start off with, what made you decide to do conventions to begin with? And what are some, you know, times where I know you've had some interactions with some celebrities doing your showing off your art to celebrities of them seeing that. You know, I'm sure that when you go to a con, that factors into kind of what you're going to do for the day or for the weekend or whatever. What are some interactions you've had with some of those people that you've done art with too, like art of at a convention?
Absolutely.
But what made you, first off, what made you get into doing conventions to begin with?
Well, this will be issue 2 of the comic book series that I will make about the Chalk Girl.
I can't wait for this, man. I love comics. I love manga. I'm ready to go, man. I gotta see
I'll
this.
pick them up. Let's go.
One
I'm
day,
on board.
one
One
day it'll
day.
happen.
One day. Yeah.
So I, on a whim, it was, let's see, my last year chalking at Six Flags was 2014. In 2016, I was working as an artist at Trader Joe's, and
Oh wow.
yeah, every Trader Joe's you go into has a little small group of artists that does all the stuff in there.
I never knew that. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So I was working at Trader Joe's, and there was a new convention coming to Chicago called Heroes and Villains. And they had been doing Walker Stalker for a while. So that was already popular. I knew nothing about it. I had never, with the exception of for work for Six Flags, I had never really been to a comic book convention before. It was just kind of something I knew existed, but maybe at the time I thought it was too dorky or something. I don't know. I take all that back now. But but I heard about Heroes and Villains, and I emailed them. And I said, I have never done this before. What would it take to be a vendor? I do sidewalk chalk. And I just think it'd be really cool. And the person didn't understand. And I was like, well, I draw really big pictures on the ground. And they're like, well, it's a convention hall. Like, you can't just draw on the ground. And I lied, and I said, I know how to make chalk portable. And so I just left it at that. I was like, it's not on the ground. It's not on the ground. Like, I can pick it up and leave with it at the end of the day. And so they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. We have somebody left. We have a booth. It was a corner booth for $100. And I was like, okay, sure.
You don't get prices like that most days.
Yeah. You get nothing for $100 at a convention these days. So I was like, absolutely. So I immediately turned to my husband and I said, hey, we need to figure out how to make chalk portable. And so we were like, what's something that comes in a large format that, we could shove in our car and do that. So I found some canvas, and I literally carpet taped it together. So very strong carpet tape. I carpet taped 2 pieces together, and I even had like safety pins in there. Just 2 pieces to make a like 9 by 10 foot piece of canvas. We had nothing to sell. We didn't know what was going to happen. So we got there, we set up. It's literally just me drawing, and there's like a folding chair for my husband to sit next to me. And like, people are asking us like, do you sell anything? How are you going to get that home? Like, what do you do with it when you're done? And all of our answers were, we don't know. So we just kind of like by the seat of our pants went through that first convention and just kind of watched and learned and talked to vendors. And my husband, who is a million hats in one for this whole thing, he went over to some of the celebrity artists that were there, and he got them to come say hi, one of which would be Brian Roll, who is kind of my mentor in the whole vendor business thing. So he talked to us. We got to talk to Rob Pryor. If you've ever seen him, he's an ambidextrous painter, which is really cool. But so we got to meet all these people, which was awesome. We literally wrapped the whole thing up, and we're like carrying this thing, like it was slumped over his shoulder, but then it like went to my shoulder and it was slumped over my shoulder, and we would like walk through the convention hall with just this like rug of a canvas. That's great. But the beautiful thing about that convention was that people were really enjoying it. They really liked it. I had known of the reactions that I gotten at Six Flags, but at a convention, it's a completely different atmosphere. There's a completely different respect for art at a convention. And people were very fascinated. And it was, since it was the Heroes and Villains convention, all of the CW heroes were there. Stephen Amell, Grant Gustin, all these people were there. And
that's great.
On another whim, my husband went and talked to Stephen Amell, and he No. Wow. I just got that story completely wrong. Before I take all that back, I'm drawing. He did end up going and talking to Stephen Amell, but at first, I'm drawing on this corner, and Heroes and Villains wasn't as popular a convention as then, so the celebrities could literally just walk through the hall from one end to the other to go from signing autographs to go to a panel to go to whatever. Stephen Amell walked by, and some of my best vendor friends to this day, we met them there. They're called One More Round Entertainment. They have their own series of comic books. One of them, his name is Mario, is a very loud guy. And Stephen Amell walks by with a posse of people behind him. And Mario says, dude, they're drawing your face on the ground over here. And I'm drawing. I'm just like in my world. I didn't hear it, like all this stuff. Stephen Amell comes over, and my husband kind of nudges me, and he's like, hey, like right there, like Stephen. And I was like, no way.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Stephen, he
awesome.
apparently he did like a double take. He came over, he looked at it. I was only halfway done, which was super embarrassing to me. I was like, no, it's not done. It's not done. And he thought it was very cool. He wanted to take a photo with it. So we took a progress shot, and then we talked to him later. He asked what time it would be done. I said 6 p.m. because that was the end of the convention. And then I just went about my day. There was a short happy dance right after he left. And a rush of endorphins. But then I finished the picture. 6 o'clock comes around, and people are leaving the convention hall. Stephen's wine company, Knocking Point, had a little gala that night, I guess you could call it. And so they were prepping the convention space for that gala, and he was helping direct things over there. My husband went and talked to him. He came back. He took a photo with me with the finished product, and then he posted it to his Instagram.
Oh
and
boy!
He tagged me in it.
Nice.
And my follower count went from 70 to 1,500 overnight.
Nice.
It was like,
it's not awesome.
Well, and back then, like you didn't have these millions of viewers or billions of followers or whatever. Like it wasn't TikTok viral, but to me, that was like
that's a
the world.
Huge increase.
It was huge. Awesome. It was amazing. To this day, like I will repost that picture every year and say, like, this is the only reason that I'm in the business. My husband and I sat down like a couple weeks after the convention, and we were like, we could do this. Like we saw the people, we saw their reactions, like people wanted to buy the thing, like let's take the leap of faith. And I was like, it sounds super scary. And he said, most things that are worth it are.
Absolutely.
And I was like,
I agree with that.
Oh my gosh. And so
I remember I actually saw that quote. You included it in your Instagram. So that's about that timeline then, hey?
Yes,
nice.
Absolutely. My husband's the one that said, let's take the leap. And so we started our business that April, and we're about 4 years in now, and we've come a long way. And it's been an amazing journey, and I've learned so much. And it's just absolutely fantastic. But Stephen was the first, and he was the one that kind of like had he not posted it, I don't think we would have been as inspired to start the journey. So I really owe a lot to him. I tell my friend Mario all the time that I owe a lot to him too, just of like, dude, your face on the ground over here.
That's so cool.
He was the first of many.
I think that many great things have always started with, I can do that. And then going home, okay, I got to figure this out. I think that's how a lot of things have come to be. And I think that's so amazing and so awesome that really is the leap of faith right there.
For permission. Just make it work after the fact. Just.
Yep. That's so cool. Cool.
That had to be a very humbling experience for you too, because you've been doing this for a long time. And you're drawing these characters and things, but to have that character right there, I couldn't imagine. That would be amazing, man, to do that right there.
and it didn't stop there. Like the
Oh,
next
no.
day I did
Yeah,
the picture of Flash, and Sierra Renee, who played Hawk Girl on that show, came over. She took a photo with it.
Wow.
We were trying to get Grant, but he was really busy. So, but there, later that fall, we met Lou Ferrigno. I've met Mr. Ron Perlman. I've met folks from Firefly. I've met
That's awesome.
one of my personal like top 5 people that I've wanted to meet in life is Doug Jones. He is a character artist.
So awesome. Oh my God, I love him.
Not only that, but like an insanely down-to-earth guy for being so wacky and out there with all of his characters. Like just meeting you is one of the coolest experiences. Even if you don't really know him, like just go try to meet him because he'll give you a great
I'll tell you what, he's from Indiana. And side note, he is one of the best huggers, is he not? Have you got a hug from him?
Yeah, he loves hugs.
He's like
another thing that won't ever happen.
Come here, give me a hug. I'm like, okay. Like he just pulls you in. Yeah, Doug Jones is great. He's in Hellboy. For those who don't know, he's amazing.
He's phenomenal. And like Pan's Labyrinth is my favorite movie.
That's such a great movie.
Nice.
And like one of the big reasons that for the 10 years that I was at Six Flags, I also did special effects makeup. And it was one of the biggest reasons that I got into special effects makeup. So like just meeting him, doing a picture of the fawn from Pan's Labyrinth and like him seeing it, like some of those pictures I will never ever forget. Like that was such a cool moment. I got to meet Michael Rooker. He's a great hugger too.
He is a great hugger too. Yeah. I got a hug from him too. He's a great hugger. Yeah.
So it's just
awesome,
it's an amazing community, and like I don't know, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, the convention experience is really, really interesting, and it's a one-on-one, not just with the people that you might be like excited to see, but the people that then are also excited to see you.
Yes.
And I mean, with everything that I'm seeing on your profile, I mean, you've definitely kept busy without the conventions. Are these sorts of things that's like what we can expect going forward until conventions are a thing again? Like I saw you had Choptober and like a lot of the live drawing stuff like that. So tell me more about what you're kind of doing in the interim.
Yeah.
Oh no, your questions are spot on. Not like
he's killing it.
There are questions, and I love it. Like, sorry, this is just really cool. So I planned out this year. I wasn't expecting to, but I needed something to keep me on track, to keep me accountable for all of my artwork, to keep me going. And so I gave every month this year a theme, and then I have chosen 4 drawings to do for that theme.
That's cool.
It'll change up my inventory. It'll add some things that maybe I haven't really wanted to do in the past, but it gives me a better reason. And the people that want to see it are very excited about it. So for example, this month we're in March. Time is soup, you guys. We're in March.
Trust me. Yeah.
It's relevant now.
This month is the theme is creatures. So we started off with Charizard because there's a whole Pokemon thing going on right now. I know this much about Pokemon. So I'm doing a Charizard drawing. I just started last week. 2 weeks ago, our live drawing was Poe from Kung Fu Panda with Jack Black, and they're like eating noodles and
that's cool. Yeah, I love it.
I have an Ellen and Dory picture in my inventory that a lot of people love to see. It's not really a hot seller, but people love the concept. And so I've had these thoughts of doing the voice actors with their character for a very long time. So that's one of the ones that I've been meaning to do. Next week will be Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. We are
nice. I love
massive How to Train Your Dragon fans in this house. And so I'm very excited. And then the last one for this month will be a whole bunch of Disney sidekicks. So like the chameleon from Tangled and the little lizard thing from Frozen and Sven and Abu and like all these.
Nice.
The fire gecko is the absolute cutest, and I might need a print of that. So in advance, let me know when
haven't seen the movie.
Oh man, just fire gecko. Just know it's there. Just know it's there.
I just know it's there.
I've seen it. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it.
But that's Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Beth. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's part of this year is doing stuff that's a little bit out of my comfort zone too. Things that I'm not familiar with, but I know at conventions people are just like that is their thing. I'm there's a very big brick wall between me and anime. Like I'm not an anime fan. For my love of animation and everything animation, like for some reason I just can't get into anime. So I have a whole bunch of friends that have been begging me to do certain things, and I don't know if they'll show up this year, but like little bits and pieces. So the fact that I even got a Pokemon in there was really huge. We're slowly getting there.
I'll tell you what, I want to see some Cobra Kai. I want a Cobra Kai mural. It would be so amazing.
You're not the first to ask.
I would buy all. I would buy it all. I would buy all. I would put them. We're huge Cobra Kai fans in this house. I would love to see some Cobra Kai. That'd be
so a question for all of you, actually, just because it's kind of anime related. So apparently Japan lauds King of the Hill as the best American anime. What do you guys think? Is that does King of the Hill count? They actually have arguments subs over dubs, just like we do.
Yeah. That's crazy to me, though.
That is not what I would expect them to think would be.
I would assume that something like The Simpsons would be, American.
Yeah. Or
they're big on King of the Hill, apparently.
That is so.
What do you think?
So big on KFC.
Off the anime list, or is it?
They are big on KFC. Yeah.
That's their Christmas meal, man.
That is a Christmas meal. Not a lot of people know that, but yeah, that's.
So not. It's just it's a wacky culture, is what it is, and not to badmouth anybody in Japanese culture. It's amazing. I love it. I'm the anime guy of this group.
You really are.
Well, okay, but what's your favorite? Like, I know names and I know certain things about. Like, my husband's a huge anime fan, but I know nothing about it.
Napatega Gurren Lagann.
Gurren Lagann is a great one. No, but see, I can't have a favorite because I watch everything. I like this season. Higurashi was awesome. ReZero is amazing.
God, and, any of this
that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Reincarnated as a slime is another awesome one. So
you
the Legend of the Shield Hero, Demon Slayer. I watch it all. Dude.
You remind me of my buddy Derek, who just names off all these. I'm like, I'm over here like I like Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan. I can't believe that cut off
Dragon Ball Z.
Week, so we get 2 episodes this week. So, I watch the Quints. I watch all this stuff, man. That's me.
Yeah, no, I definitely missing my Escaflowne. I don't know if you guys heard. Of course, we lost Kirby Morrow to suicide just a few months back.
Bless you.
And he was one of the last ones.
I was Beth down here. I'm like, I don't even know.
My whole
anime love.
Oh my gosh, my whole D&D group is into anime, and every time they just spit out names, I'm just like, bless you. Like I don't understand what they're saying.
Hilarious.
Like,
that is so funny.
That is great.
Like, my husband watches One Piece, so I know a little bit about One Piece. He's seen
all
of the episodes. He watches Hunter x Hunter. He watches.
That's a great one. Hunter x Hunter is awesome.
Shoot, I mean, he's watched a bit of Naruto. Like, I know bits and pieces. I know little things, but if you asked me to like make an anime month, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Can we get a video game month? That would be dope.
That would be cool, yeah.
Oh, get video game month would be awesome. I know my buddy would love.
I was thinking about it. I have a Master Chief that's in my inventory right now. You can find that on my website.
Yes.
I am a huge Assassin's Creed fan. Like that's
oh my god, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I absolutely love Assassin's Creed. I'm a huge I grew up on Super Nintendo, so all the traditional stuff, like love it.
Mega Man, we got some Mega Man. Mega Man. That's Victor and I right there. We love us some Mega Man.
I guess
awesome.
For the sake of the video game art that you've done, I see I even see Ratchet pulled up here.
I love that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was cool.
You don't go a lot more for the realistic stuff, but of course you did just drop the old Mario Super Nintendo games and stuff.
Yeah.
So are we feasibly gonna see some pixel art from you, or is this just gonna stay in the realism zone?
Again, love your questions. The Ratchet and Clank was actually a request. There's I'll promote another group out there. I'm actually doing a commission for them right now that I can't talk about, but the Ratchet and Clank was a commission for a group called Bambox. They do a subscription box that they have 4 different themes, I
That's
think.
awesome.
I get
Yeah,
that.
do you?
Awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
this was in their gamer box for last November. And so I did the
That's
picture
cool.
that you saw, and then I did a variant cover, and then I think I ended up signing like 1,200 of them. And then they shipped those out in their boxes. So that was on their behalf. I'd heard of it before I did the drawing, but I didn't really know anything about it. All of my artwork is much more of the realistic style. It's much more photorealistic. And so I'm hesitant to do the anime characters. I'm hesitant to do the cartoons and the stuff like that.
Right.
All of the creatures that you'll see me do this month are, in a digital animation format, but they look realistic, if you will. So I'm all about the details and the tiny little like things that make it really pop out of the page.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't draw pixel art necessarily. Also, that sounds insanely time consuming with all the little like squares and
That's
stuff.
me.
Yeah.
I'll sit
Yeah,
down
those
for just
squares.
hours and draw out pixels. So
Well, but at the same time, I have a new way of I grid all of my canvases before I do that, and like I have a new grid system that are squares, and so it's definitely a potential. Like I could certainly do that. I don't know. I mean, it's just a different kind of thing. It's out of my comfort zone. Maybe I'll do it, but it's not out. I'll never say no. Like I'll never say outright no to anything. But yeah, it's just not on the radar right now.
So I gotta know, Beth, what of all the works you've done at this point, which of them have the most personal meaning for you that you really were like, okay, no offense to any of your other work, but this one, like I'm gonna put this one, like this is definitely gonna be one that I'm like gonna be about. Which one would that be? Oh, you got it for us. That one.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So
D&D one, huh?
yes. So
Yeah.
this is my first like true original. I know that sounds weird, but everything that I do is Frankenstein. So
Yeah.
I don't like taking pictures directly from promotional, like I don't like taking promotional posters and just drawing them. I like
Right.
taking a screen cap from a show or a movie. I like taking multiple pictures, and we call it Frankensteining them together. So for this picture, his head is different from his torso, which is different from his arm. And this is 7 different pictures all combined into one.
Yeah.
The Mighty Nine picture, the Critical Role picture, I spent another 100 hours going through the internet and scouring for the images exactly how I needed them to be.
Wow.
So for reference photos, like I would look up an angry woman screaming, and then I had to look up this cowl, which is all feathers, and then I had to look up how do arms look when they're posed like this? How does this sort? Like I had to go through all of that stuff. And find it, and it was a lot of that in there is me. It's from inside my head. There's a whole bunch of fan art out in the world of these characters, so I had ideas of what they would look like. Specifically, like Critical Role puts out pictures of drawings that they've commissioned and stuff, but that one is 100% Beth.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
awesome.
I was gonna say too. I'm sure there's a ton of time that goes into actually doing the art, but what's the prep like for you too? Like, I mean, know, from getting the thought into your head, like how long on average does the prep take before you even put chalk to canvas?
The prep depends on how many episodes of a series or a movie there are for me to scan through. I'm literally like scrubbing through on Netflix or on Hulu and trying to find a good screen cap of, their mouth positioned in such a way or their head in such a direction. So that can take anywhere from, 1 to 10 hours to find the right pictures. And then I go in and I Frankenstein it in Photoshop. So that can take me anywhere from another 1 to 10 hours, just depending on how wonky I need to make things or how I need to adjust stuff or whatnot. I'm getting faster, which is great. But then I also have to cut my canvas and I have to line my canvas. We cut our lining process probably like we cut it by like 90% this year, which was great. We figured out a peg system on a pegboard and we use a plumb line now, but it used to be me literally just sitting on the ground with a 6-foot ruler, measuring and doing a line and then measuring and then doing a line and then measuring and doing a line. Don't have to worry about that anymore.
Wow, that's painstakingly.
So I save a lot of time on that now. I just need one other set of hands to help me with that, and I can get it done in like a half hour, which is great.
I have to ask you about something real quick too. I gotta know because I saw this on your Instagram. I was going through. This is before I even messaged you.
Yeah.
To come on here. There is a picture. There it is. Explain the photo of. I'm assuming. Is this your husband carrying, like, picking you up?
Oh yeah.
What's that? Yeah, what's that? What's that all about?
Okay. I am short. I'm not the tallest person in the world. And that photo was from a Heroes and Villains. I believe it was like 2017, I think.
Is this one?
Yeah.
I can barely
saw
see
that, yeah.
I got
He's
that.
literally picking me up back. Like so I'm taking a photo of the drawing I just did on the ground. So he's giving me a leg up to take a photo higher so that I can get a better view instead of doing this weird like angled picture.
Mm-hmm.
He's a firefighter paramedic. It's no big issue to him. He just kind of like whoop.
That's cool. If you guys want to get a good idea of how big Beth is, there's a picture of her standing next to Lou Ferrigno. That'll give you a good
That's a good representation.
More like a good representation of Lou. Like I am just a 5'4". Like I mean, I'm an average size lady. But he is his bicep is the size of my head. Like it's gross.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
So yes, Kyle was just lifting me up and helping me get a better, that's like one of our little traditions for every picture. He'll just lift me, but I don't do that anymore. So I was hospitalized last year because I screwed my back up because of all those days sitting on the pavement at Six Flags. I didn't have like the ergonomic stuff to like keep my everything in alignment and all that jazz. I wasn't even thinking about that. I just wanted to get the pictures done. But then last year, the day before my 30th birthday, I screwed up my SI joint, which connects your pelvis to your spine. So I can't do stuff on the ground anymore. So we figured out how you saw with Hellboy, how I have a makeshift easel with a folding table and a ladder.
I saw that.
And
it's
just
pretty great.
It's so much easier and so much better for me as an artist. So
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't need to. He doesn't need to pick me up anymore. But
so you also do a lot of so since we are not going to or not doing conventions as of yet, hopefully though soon. You've been doing stuff live. I see you're on Twitch. I love Twitch. And what's it been like doing the stuff live, like over Zoom or things like that? How has that worked out for you? And what's the interaction been like with fans of yours as well?
It's great in a sense that I'm seeing the same names pop up every week, and that makes me incredibly happy. Like somebody out there has put it on their calendar that they're going to spend an hour with me on a Wednesday night and just kind of chill and hang. And I cannot give enough credit to my friend group, my D&D group. They are, if we ever do conventions again, you will see them with me at the conventions, and they're just a wacky, wild group of people, but they are my commentary. So any of the voices you hear behind the camera are these guys just making that hour a little more fun. They're asking questions. Cool. They are doing trivia. They are all nerds. They have their own podcast that talks about Pokemon, Overwatch, and comics. So like they have such a breach of knowledge in the nerd world. And they just like, some of them are really into the art, so they'll be asking me technique questions while it's happening. Some of them again are just doing, like, well, did you know that Zack Snyder, like just stuff like that. So it adds more than just me drawing in front with some lo-fi music in the background, which is still great. I'm getting used to that too. I have up to my hours on TikTok. I've joined the Zennial community of TikTok, and I will go live on there now. But I love it. I think it's great. It's a little bit stressful, but it's also filling the convention void for sure.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's helping me stay consistent. If I didn't have those live drawings planned, I would not be doing the drawings that I set for myself every month. So it's great in that fact. It's great to hear from the same people every week. I'm always trying to get more folks to join us and to ask questions. I think some people are sometimes shy to, like we're having a conversation with my buds. Yeah.
I think that's the big thing. Like if you're doing, I guess Twitch, when do you do that? So we can tell our viewers where they can find.
Thank you so much. All of my scheduled drawings will be at 6 p.m. Central Time on Wednesdays. I know it's not the greatest time for everybody, but it's when we can do our thing. My friends have jobs too, so it's just kind of when we could all get together. 6 p.m. Central Time, Wednesday night. I'm on every platform that I said earlier. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. I think that's it.
Yeah.
So we have,
sounds good.
behind the scenes, there's
Twitter
like 7
well?
cameras.
Wow.
Sorry?
I saw Twitter as well, I believe.
Yes. Twitter. I don't think you can go live on Twitter yet. If that's
not yet, but I think you can post videos. So
I think you can go live on Twitter now. I don't know if they
can. You really?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought
that sounds dangerous.
I wouldn't know.
But
I think out of all of the platforms, I know the least about Twitter.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Oh man. Yeah.
See,
so,
ReZero is over now, so I needed something to fill in my Wednesdays. So it looks like it's gonna be Chalk Girl Wednesdays for me.
Hey,
Chalk!
That's gonna work out for me.
There you go.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing your name. But yeah, it's just a fun, and like it can literally be like the participation, I think, drives the hour for me. The hour ends up being 5 minutes for me. Like it's not even, but like ask me what my favorite ice cream flavor is. Like it doesn't even have to be anything about Chalk Girl. Like it could be anything at all. But we've learned so much from our community, and we're really hoping to just broaden it. Yeah. So
you know what I think would be kind of cool? You ever do the wine and canvas stuff? I would love like a class, like a wine and canvas with chalk. That'd be
cool, right? Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I mean, if I could figure that out,
that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
It would be very cool.
I think for most people, like a lot of the stores now that sell canvases do sell canvases that are done with a black gesso.
Nice.
And so that would give a pretty good base for any project that you might do, considering black seems to be your usual background.
Yeah.
I mean, Crayola is also super accessible. I'd definitely be up for doing a session with you.
Yeah, I would love to try that. That'd be cool. Like if you could do that'd be kind of fun to do like a you can be like the cool, Bob Ross of chalk. You can be like the Bob Ross of chalk, dude. That'd be so
Don't tempt me. I look up so much to that man. I look up to that man so much.
I love him. Yeah.
Did you ever consider doing something like an online class of some sort?
That's what we're saying. Yeah,
let's do an online class instead of meeting up somewhere. That'd be pretty good too.
That'd be cool. Oh my gosh, we just had a show here in Penticton. We are the first location to have ever hosted Bob Ross's art outside of US.
Oh wow!
And we had a show. They actually had to postpone it because it was supposed to open just after COVID hit.
Okay.
And so they opened it up in September, and it was amazing. Like you can see every stroke that he put down. All those happy little trees.
You know what's crazy is we're talking Bob Ross. I had no idea Bob Ross did his show in Muncie, Indiana, and that's like almost 2 hours away from me. And his studio is now a museum, and you can actually sit like where he sat.
That's so cool, dude.
I gotta go. Yeah. I gotta make it
awesome. So you gotta go. You gotta go check that out, man. Once you can.
Yeah.
Our theme for December is real life heroes, and he's on the list. So
he should be the whole month, Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Well, I had to make room for Stanley. I had
Oh,
to
that
make
works.
things
Oh,
for some other
absolutely.
folks.
That's acceptable.
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead. I mean, we're only in March and you've already got December booked out.
Oh,
I have the
yeah.
entire
Oh,
year
yeah.
planned out.
Oh, she don't mess around.
Entire year. And I have
Yeah.
a sponsor for every month too. I think I might have
Oh,
an
great.
opening. So if you guys
Oh, that would be
Oh,
great.
what?
We would
Nice.
love that. That would be
I
great.
can definitely look at my thing and I can send you a message. But
Yeah, let me know.
I'm trying to get a sponsor for every month. This month it's my friend Donovan. He has his own little studio. Actually, it's local in here, so you could go visit his brick and mortar if you lived
That's cool.
near Wisconsin. But at the same
Wow.
time, he sells like these wickedly cool, I wish I had one up here, these wickedly cool creature coloring books. And he makes these little like, he calls them zombeans. So it's beans that are zombies, but then he
That's
adds
cool.
another character on top.
Okay.
So it'll be Captain America as a zombie or
Oh,
like something
that's
else.
awesome.
But he has like all these really cool things. So I try to give out one thing during the live drawing every week as a little bit of an incentive to get viewers, sure, but also to get participation, to get the comments in my thing. So like we've given out 2 of his comic books. We've given out I have 2 sisters-in-law that have their own business of a laser wood cutting studio. So they do really cool stuff with that. In January was Star Wars month. I have friends that make nerd quilts. So they have taken some of our art, gotten it printed, and then made quilts out of it. So they made like these door hangers that like I could send out. So we're really trying to, we're trying to boost the small biz community.
That's
the one thing that you don't. That's what I love about cons. I know a lot of people go to conventions and they're like, "Oh, I'm here to see celebrities." Like, look, I like seeing celebrities. Don't get me wrong. I've had my interactions. I love that. But for me, and I would imagine for a lot of us here, you know, I know Kona, you're an artist, Beth, obviously, you know, I go more. I don't really even go for the celebrities for the most part. I go because I love being around creativity. I love surrounding myself around a nerdy pop culture community of people that are creative.
Yeah.
And I miss going, oh my God, I miss going from booth to booth to booth and just seeing something different. Like, of course, when I saw you for the first time and what you do, and I was blown away. And it's that experience that you can never translate over digitally in any way, shape, or form. Like, I remember I went to a virtual convention. Victor and I were a part of a virtual convention last year. We did this show on there. And it's just not the same. I mean,
that's so different.
Walking through a vendor hall and just being surrounded by artists and all that creativity. I mean, I miss that, discovering something different, something new. And man, I can't. Oh God, I'm getting chills just talking about it. I miss it so much.
And it's not just the creativity that's coming up. You know, it's also the community. I know that we've been speaking. I know we've been speaking in terms of you know, nerds and all this other stuff, but we have an awesome community, dude, that we all bind together regardless of what your likes are. It's a nerdy community, it's a nerdy environment, but there's some passion there, dude, and you can speak to anybody about anything practically, and you can come up and make friends easy at a convention.
I love going up to random, like I review cons, but I don't go as like it's my job. I'm an attendee. Like, I'm just there. And I love going to booths and just hearing people tell me about their passion, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we love doing this show too, like having people like you on to come on here. And it's kind of like I get to kind of live vicariously through people like you and when we do the show, because I don't get to go to a convention and surround myself with all that, you know, walk up to this booth and this booth and have people tell me what they're passionate about. And you absolutely, you can tell in your artwork that you're definitely passionate about what you do. And I love it. Oh man, I love it.
Well, thank you so much. Like there were so many things that I had a checklist for 2020 of like to find at cons, whether it was a new set of tabletop dice, whether it was a new, like a Christmas gift for somebody. And like, it's not as easy to find those things so special on the internet. Sure, you can go to Etsy and like I will promote Etsy for days. I'm on there. I know people that are on there, but like you want to talk to the the creator and you want to find out the process and you want to learn, like there is so much information that you can have in a conversation with that artist that then you can translate to, like, I love gifting stuff like that for people, of being like, this artist does this thing this way and you will never find it anywhere else. Like, that is so cool, and it adds so much to the product. And I totally miss that. I totally miss, like, one of the coolest things, and I don't know if you guys have ever gotten to experience this, but for me as a vendor, like, we're in the hall before everybody gets to be in there. And there's such like a cool, it's hard to describe, but there's like an electricity because everybody's like ready for the day. People are doing last minute things and everything. I'm running around like going to my last bathroom trip for 5 hours. And then I'm doing all this stuff. Like, and there's such a cool vibe, even just standing in line. Like, I will take my photo or my canvases. Sometimes I'll have to go in line to meet the person that I'm going to see. And I'm standing, next to somebody who has watched a show for 3 years longer than I have. So I can ask them questions, or a newbie just behind me who, just discovered this thing. And there's such a community. And I'm so sad that for the longest time I had this weird opinion about it. Like, sure, there's been a resurgence of these cons in the last decade, but at the same time, like, I take back everything that I said before I was, 20. Like, it's insane that there's such a family. And it is that you get to see the same people from different parts of the country every single time you go. And it's so cool.
I mean,
it's as the kids say, you're woke.
Is that what that means? Sure.
But no, the thing is that you're right. It's, I've been to concerts, I've been to sporting events, and, people will get angry and things like that about things. But man, I'll tell you what, going to a con, I've never felt that. I've never felt that I don't feel that tense. You know what I mean? When you're around a lot of people, you don't feel that, it doesn't feel tense. Like,
the only tension is when two matching cosplayers meet eye to eye.
That's amazing when that happens.
That's so
that's
true.
Best friends for life, right there.
So true.
I want to ask you too, real quick before we go. We're almost out of time. Have you ever?
Oh no! Don't stop! Don't stop.
I know. We can do this all day. We can
do this all day.
I have nothing, so we can do this all day. No, but have you been to a convention yet where you've met somebody else that does chalk art?
Yes. So there is, and it's not popular. So like, I would love to meet these people. If you guys ever see chalk artists, like, give them my info. And I love comparing notes and stuff. Yeah. But there is the chalk guy. He is more of, like I said, a motivational speaker. He doesn't do stuff at conventions, but there's him. I've met him. There's a set of twins in Florida who travel and they have a very big setup. So at the Heroes and Villains conventions and the Walker Stalker ones, they actually bring like this trailer that's covered in chalkboard paint, and kids can like do chalk on the side of it. Cool. And then it's very cool. They do all this stuff on like tiles. So it's like, I do all my stuff on canvas. Theirs is on sets of tiles, and they actually have it. Their setup is really cool. They have it angled. So they're still working on the ground, but like when you go to take a picture, it's not so warped digitally. They also have like opportunities. Sometimes they'll do the people ask me this all the time. They say, like, do you do the 3D drawings where you can like sit on top of something and it looks like you're in the picture? I don't do that, but they sometimes will have that kind of effect going on.
The perspective art is so tricky.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Yeah,
it's tricky, and I've done it once. It takes forever. It takes an insane amount of chalk, and it takes an insane amount of space. So like something that needs to look the same size as your head, like if you're looking at, let's say, another head, that head will actually be like 4 feet long. It's just crazy the way that it warps.
That's nuts. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about cons and the community and stuff. I want to go to a con.
Brian's down. He's down now. No, I feel you, man. I feel you.
Super extroverted. I'm super extroverted, and being around other people just is what charges me. So this whole time of being like in my house, I'm like,
That social
you're not
interaction
alone.
is something that we're missing for sure.
Yeah.
I love hanging out with people too, and it's been a tough year and a half not to be able to really interact, not really being able to just hang out and to meet up with friends or go to a convention and meet new friends. But it's tough, it's hard, and it's always good to hear how someone else is dealing with, you a convention goer, how are you coping with not being able to go. So having a month dedicated to a particular topic and continue your drawings are amazing. I think that's a great way to keep yourself going for the rest of this year.
Thanks. And I think granted, not every topic will be for every member of my audience, but again, if I'm out of my comfort zone, I think other people can also try that too. So, April is captains. That's just the theme. I have a friend that's been asking me to do Captain Jack Sparrow for the longest time. So we're doing a captain's theme, which will include like Captain America, Captain Hook, Captain Picard. So we're doing stuff like that. But then May is musicals. So like, it's just kind of a cool, I know, right?
I love musicals. I love musicals.
Do you have your week already planned out for that month, or do you only have the topic and you're going to figure it out when the month comes?
I have the topic and the drawing. So I have spoken with certain, like the sponsors that I have, the small businesses. Some of them, I gave them the opportunity to like pick one if they wanted to, just so that they felt more comfortable incorporating it in their advertising or promoting me and vice versa. So I actually have one of my best friends is a vocal and piano teacher, and she's sponsoring our musical month. And so she's handing out free lessons during my live drawings, which is really cool. And everything for her is virtual right now. So like, it's nothing, I mean, you literally could just show up. I'm giving like somebody the opportunity to just hang out with a music professional for,
that's awesome.
A couple weeks. And like, so she chose Into the Woods is her request for that month.
That was a good one. That was really good.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
So I have like, I think there's maybe 5 or 6 slots for the entire year that I don't have a specific drawing or a specific idea yet, but I for sure, like time comes, I will have an idea. So,
I just bought your Master Chief print. So.
Oh my gosh!
Dude, where'd you even get that? I was telling you, I was looking to see if I can buy this stuff.
I just got it.
Here buying stuff during the show, man. That's not cool, man.
God.
There it is.
Man.
I just got your Master
You're
Chief
holding
print,
on to information.
I'll be getting that in about 3 to 5.
We're gonna have a conversation.
I'll be getting that in about 3 to 5 business days. I can't wait to.
Well, I'll ship it out today, so it should be even sooner.
You know what happened? You know what happened? He wanted to make sure he jumped on it before
I have to. I got stuff, man.
I think that's what's going on.
Oh my God! Thank you so much.
I gotta support the guests, man.
No, that's awesome, dude. No, that's great. That's great.
Yeah,
but we gotta get that information on the
to Canada?
Make sure that we have our listeners.
Yes, I do
out
ship to Canada.
Sure we have a link that they can go ahead and get stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I have an Etsy store, so if
that's where I got it from. Yep, there it is.
Yes. So, fun fact though, Etsy's becoming a little tricky. If you fair warning to people that are looking to buy from Etsy, do not click on Etsy ads. Etsy ads are charging the creators for every ad that they put out there. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. If you have the funds to do that, great. But I highly recommend going to Etsy and searching the name instead of clicking on any ads you might see for Etsy. So future recommendation to anyone else until that changes. So if you go to Etsy, type in The Chalk Girl, all one word, and you should be able to find my store pretty easily.
That's how I did it. There it is. Click on the ad.
Awesome.
You'll be happy to know that Steve Downs, the voice of Master Chief, was with me the day that I did the picture, and he saw it and he took a photo with it.
Cool.
He also has a copy himself. So it was a request from my husband and one of his video gaming friends. So yeah.
Well, I cannot wait to get mine in the mail, and I will hang it up here in my office.
Would you like it signed? I won't be offended if you say no.
Oh,
that'd be awesome. Yeah.
That would be great.
Okay, cool.
That would be great. Yeah.
And then Kona, we can figure out, there's like a weird shipping thing. So I'll give you a code and you can put that in and it'll bypass the shipping stuff. So Don't worry about that.
Hey,
Thank you.
there you go.
That's
You're welcome.
I know
That's
not
cool.
everybody
There it
ships to
is.
Canada. It can be a little bit crazy.
It can be. I literally like 2 days ago just reopened my international shipping. For a while it was a little insane. I don't know why. I would love to understand why international shipping is so expensive, but yeah, we did a
Honestly,
convention.
if you look at the Canadian
So
shipping
weird.
rates, it costs more either to fly across Canada or ship across Canada than it is to ship across the border or fly across the border.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
gosh.
insane.
Weird.
It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. We were at a convention in Timmins, Ontario, one year, and like, so we have a small gathering of friends that live up there, and
Yeah.
they'll continue to buy stuff, and I'm so sorry about this outrageous shipping price for this tiny little button. Like, it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
First
I'm
world
looking at your
problems, though.
store, and I'm looking at your store. And
That's
I love
good
your-
problems to have, right? Yeah.
yeah.
I like buttons and stuff like that too. I might
Awesome.
end up getting some more things along the way for sure. I will. But thank you so much, Beth. That's all the time we have today for this show. Thank you so much for getting up early and joining us here.
Yes.
No worries. It was a pleasure. This is so fun. Like I said, I could do this all day.
And you're more than welcome to join us anytime as well. We always
we would
offer
love
our
to.
guests,
Just let me know.
Whenever you're free, feel free to hit us up and we're good to go.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we'll have to do a collab for something in the future here, either an event
Yes.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Get
there
it,
you go.
Yes.
nerdy art going.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
100%.
definitely. We have a logo, man. Brian, we got to work on that, man. That'd be cool to get that.
That'd be cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But no, I hope to see you at a con soon. And
Hopefully.
that'd be great. I know Victor and I are wanting to take this show on the road. We want to do a podcast at a convention. So maybe
cool.
we're all in the same neighborhood. We can do this all in person one day. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But thank you guys at home for listening to our show. You can find us Spotify, Apple Podcast. We're on just a ton of different places. And of course, all of our video episodes are on YouTube as well. And under the description of this video, we'll leave all of Beth's links below to her store or Instagram, all that good stuff, where you can find her and get some of her stuff like I did today. I'll have some of her art in my home.
Jumping ahead of me.
But thank you guys so much for listening to us. And until next time, we'll see you guys. Take it easy.
Later.
Bye.
See ya.